The love lesson of life. Dear self, love is like art. You know it when you see it. It's something you never ignore. Because one day, you might wake up from your sleep and realize that you lost the moon while counting the stars. You can buy a house, but not a home. You can buy a clock, but not time. You can buy a doctor, but not health. You can buy a bed, but not sleep. Love is something you can't buy or teach. There are 4 things you need to know before falling in love. First, look at a pencil. We know that in order for it to become useful from time to time, again and again, it's going to have to go through resharpening. If this pencil could feel, we can imagine how painful that would be, but that's what it takes. Love is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it's through these opportunities that we build ourselves and grow. We have to keep in mind that we can correct many of the mistakes we make along the way. That's why we have an eraser. We learn from our mistakes, but they aren't mistakes. They are lessons we can use to do better the next time around. Every place you are needed in the relationship, we leave our mark. We are writing our own story, and never forget what's inside you. I always knew if I lost parts of myself, I would find myself. It's kind of like a paradox. If I'm doing things with intention, and I'm truly opening up with myself, then the more things I do to step into the unknown, and the more I become me. You become more aware of how you're finding yourself in the dark places in your life. Then I think about what I can do when I look at my life, and I look all around myself and realize all of these things are just a reflection of me. You have to shine a light on the darkest parts of you. You can't do every silly thing you want in a relationship. You have to make your choices and be happy with them to some degree. I always believe forgiveness won't change the past, but can very well change the future. You can't give forgiveness casually. We have to get to the bottom of things, have to sort out what happened, we have to set it straight and understand why. Then we both have to swear that won't happen again. Then you can forgive and move on. You can't paint over a situation, you have to deal with it. Then you're a fool to not forgive under those circumstances, because otherwise you propagate the cost of the situation and risk everything. Imagine you're holding on 2 bottles and they drop on the floor and they both break, but it's how they break that's important. One bottle crumbles in a pile of glass and the other shatters into a weapon in the exact same environment. People just don't break the same. I've always believed the truth will set you free. If something doesn't grow, it usually dies. If love doesn't exist for you, then become the person that it exists for. We have to remember that even good people make bad decisions. People say you're perfect the way you are. In reality, you're imperfect, and that's the good stuff you need to find in someone you love. You find out life is more than appearances. Some things we could avoid to save from embarrassment, but everything that breaks you down builds your character. You're going to cover insecurities with lots of anger. You know your partner is masculine when he scares you. You know your partner won't hurt you because he has a system of values he upholds, and you see it. A man that is able to hurt you deeply but still chooses not to, that is what makes him powerful and respected. So the man that can hurt you and chooses to protect you is the man that is truly capable of defending you from other men, because he is capable of love. You find yourself when you're single. There's only so much searching when you're single and you find yourself in a relationship, which is why the second part of your life is called marriage. If you're still searching for yourself after 3 years, you are most likely in your ego or afraid. It's the challenge that makes you find your best self. Just remember that just being present does not mean you're present. If you spend your time building a beautiful garden, the butterflies will come. And if they don't, you will still have your beautiful garden. I don't think anyone should be looking for love until they find their purpose. Because how do we know who we are compatible with? I always find the hardest choices are the simplest ones. The most important thing I can express in this letter is, you have to set examples in life. You have to be a lover and a fighter. You can't love without fighting for it. I believe there's love in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength to be noble, and finally allows us to die with pride. Even though sometimes we are difficult and stubborn in our ways, we have to give up the worst parts of ourselves to get the thing we want the most. Whatever comes our way, whatever battle we have, we always have a choice. It's the choices that make us who we are today. The one thing you have to remember that you can't forget is you never really know the true value of any moment until it becomes a memory. Sincerely, Michael Allen.